There are some streets you walk every day, so often you stop seeing them. Victoria Road in Feltham is one of those streets. Cars crawl past takeaways and corner shops. The pavements are uneven. The lampposts flicker like they've been tired for years. It's not a place that announces danger. It's a place that hides it. On a cold January evening, just after 5 o'clock, when daylight gives up without a fight, an 18-year-old boy stepped onto that street. He would not make it home. What happened next lasted only minutes, but the consequences will echo for decades. Before he became a police statement, before he became a crime scene, before his name was printed beneath the word stabbing. He was just Maliki, 18 years old, a teenager standing on the edge of adulthood, not quite free, not quite afraid. People who knew him described him the same way, over and over again. Quiet but kind, always respectful, a good kid. He wasn't famous, he wasn't powerful, he wasn't dangerous. And that's important, because true crime doesn't usually begin with villains. It begins with ordinary people living ordinary lives, unaware that time is already running out. January evenings in London arrive early. By 4:30 p.m., the sky has already turned the color of wet concrete. Shop windows glow. Buses hiss to a stop. People hurry, not because they're scared, but because they're cold. Maliki had plans. Nothing dramatic, nothing reckless. Just another evening. But something changed. Somewhere between routine and randomness, paths crossed. And once they did, there was no turning back. The emergency call came in just after 5 p.m. A young man stabbed. Victoria Road, Feltham. Police cars screamed through traffic. Blue lights bounced off brick walls. Paramedics ran, not walked, ran. Because when the word stabbing comes over the radio, everyone knows what it means. Time is blood. Maliki was found with multiple stab wounds. Not one, not accidental, not defensive, deliberate. Every second mattered. And still, it wasn't enough. On the pavement, paramedics worked with a quiet urgency that comes from experience. They didn't panic. They didn't shout. They focused. A helicopter was called. Hospital staff prepared. For a brief moment, just a brief one, there was hope. But later that evening, Maliki died in hospital, 18 years old, gone. By morning, Victoria Road had changed. Flowers appeared first, then candles, then handwritten notes. Fly high. Gone too soon. We love you. The street that swallowed his life now held his memory. And somewhere nearby, a family learned the kind of news no parent should ever hear. There is no language for this moment. No script. No comfort phrase. Just a knock on the door and a sentence that fractures reality. Your son is gone. From that moment on, life becomes divided into before and after. Before the call, after the call, before hope, after silence. Within hours, detectives launched a murder investigation. CCTV footage was seized, phone data examined, witnesses questioned, and soon arrests followed. Teenagers, not hardened criminals, not strangers to youth. Kids, 2 16-year-olds, 1 19-year-old. Suddenly, the story became even harder to process. Because when children kill children, society has no easy answers. Why were knives there? Why did tempers escalate? Why did no one walk away? These are the questions asked every time. And every time, the answers sound the same. But the pain is always new. Police insisted there was no wider threat. But communities heard something else. It could have been anyone. Another street, another teenager, another family shattered. Friends struggled to speak. Teachers struggled to explain. How do you tell young people that life can end over something so small, so fast? You don't. You just hope they learn before it's too late. As investigations continue, the law moves slowly, carefully, deliberately. Justice does not rush, even when grief does. And for the family, waiting becomes its own kind of punishment. There's a lie we often tell grieving families, that justice brings peace. It doesn't. What it brings is finality. And sometimes, not even that. What remains is memory, a laugh, a voice, a future that will never arrive, and a question that will haunt every parent who hears the story. Could this have been my child? The Bible says, "Those who live by the sword shall perish by the sword." Matthew 26, verse 52. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The sword doesn't just destroy the hand that holds it. It cuts through families, through streets, through generations. Tonight, somewhere in London, another teenager is stepping onto a familiar road, believing they will make it home. And somewhere else, another decision is waiting to be made. The question is not whether violence will end. The question is who will end it, before the next knock on the door, before the next street becomes a shrine, before another name becomes a headline.